So in my last devotion, we looked at this passage from 2 Kings 6 and the story of the king of Aram trying to capture Elisha, because Elisha was by God's power revealing his plans and causing him not to be able to be victorious over the king of Israel. And we saw how Elisha prayed that his servant would have his eyes open to what God was doing that he couldn't see with just his normal vision. And today I want to go on with what happened after God opened this man's eyes. Elisha prayed a second prayer. He prayed this: Lord, he said, strike this people, the army of Aram, with blindness, I pray. So he struck them with blindness according to the word of Elisha. So now here they were kind of surrounded by this army of people, but Elisha has prayed that the whole army would be struck blind, and they are. And so Elisha goes down and he pretends not to be himself, and he says, I'll take you where you need to go. So he leads the army into Samaria, and they get to Samaria, and Elisha says, Lord, let them be able to see. And they see that they are not at all in a place that they wanted to be. And so the king of Israel, who was there, obviously looking at this as a moment of victory, says to Elisha, should we kill them all right now? And Elisha said, wait a minute. If these were your captives in battle, if they were your prisoners of war, would you kill them? He said, no, don't kill them. Give them something to eat. Give them something to drink, and then send them back to their master. So he prepares a great feast for them, and when they had eaten and when they had had something to drink, they went back, and the final sentence in this account is, the marauding bands of Arameans did not come again into the land of Israel. You know, Elisha's advice for how to treat the enemies of the king of Israel, I think, can be helpful for us. Because sometimes when we perceive someone as an enemy and we feel like that we've got them in a vulnerable position, the human tendency is to go in for the kill, to kind of make sure that they are not able to hurt us. We want to incapacitate them. And whether that's with an argument over spiritual things, an argument over political things, an argument over cultural things, or something personal that has happened between us, our human tendency is to slay our enemies. But Elisha says to the king, don't slay them, show them kindness, show them generosity, feed them, give them something to drink, minister to their needs, and then send them home. And I think that's a good plan for us. Instead of going in for the kill, let's think, how can I be generous in this situation? How can I reflect God's generosity toward me, his provision for me, his forgiveness of me in this situation? The result in that case was that the war stopped. Now, I don't think that is so prescriptive that if we do this, the war will stop, our arguments will stop, our enemies will cease. But I do think that it is a pattern that God is expressing, that we, rather than trying to slay our enemies, should try to show them the kindness and generosity of God, so that he can use that to perhaps put an end to the conflict between us.